Welcome to the May 16 Eclipse OpenJ9 community call. As always, if you can add your name and affiliation to the list of attendees, so we have some idea of who's regularly joining or even who's new in joining. Be good. All right, and then we have our usual agenda. If there's something you'd like to add to the agenda that isn't there, feel free to chime in now or to add it to the any other business section. So I'll pause for a second if somebody wants to jump in. Okay, we don't have a lightning talk scheduled. If there's one that you'd like to give, reach out to me and we'll get something set up. So let's take a look at the recent end user issues. I think the only new one is a core file issue that looks like it's already got a PR for, so looks to be in good state. Is there anything else on this list that needs some discussion today? Okay, then we'll jump back to the agenda. That brings us to the direction and roadmap section. With the 038 release, last week we said that the GA builds would likely be available this week. Does anyone know what the state of that is?
So IBM is still waiting for CV testing to complete, but Tony's leaning more towards getting the builds out anyways. I'm not sure if there's a final decision on that. So he was wanting to bring the conversation back to the OpenJ9 call to see if they would tag for GA so that we could start those builds. I think Pete is out this week, so we're looking for decision and action on tagging those.
So I don't see, I think the only thing we were waiting on was the IBM test results. So if IBM is happy with those test results, then I think from a community perspective, we're ready to tag and move forward.
Okay. Is anybody else comfortable doing that, or if not, I can look into it?
If you're happy to take that on, I think go for it, Adam. It's Pete's been primarily the one driving that that piece of things. So
sounds good.
All right. Java 19, I believe the website was updated because I saw somebody reading links to that. So I believe we can take this off our agenda now. For Java 20.01, there is 5 items, down to 4 items now in this plan. Probably worth just having a quick check on where we're at with each of these. Cheng, what's the state of the disable FFI test suites in JT Reich for? Is Cheng not on the call? I don't see Cheng actually. Toby, do you know what the state of that is?
Sorry, just look for the mute button. So there was one test failure that a fix recently went to. I believe that was the last one preventing us from re-enabling the test suite. So we'll run the test again this week, and if it's all green, we'll re-enable those.
Okay, sounds good. Update OpenSSL to the latest security update. Typically, we carry that forward and action that as we're ready to release. The unimplemented on AIX issue. Do we have anyone know what the state of that is? Could open that item.
Yeah, I think we'll have to get back with him to see what his update is. I don't think anyone's been in contact for some time.
And does anyone have the state of the ping pong timeout? Could open that issue as well.
For the ping pong is we can reproduce the problem. There's only on the Z Linux. And the interesting is we do see the their issue can happen just before NGC start. So there's unlikely they're related any GC the activity. So now we tried the isolated. There's anything JIT. The difference between the GenCon and the Violence GC. I haven't getting any result yet.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like there's progress being made, but we're still not that much closer to a release for this. So. All right. Can ask people to keep making progress on those, so we can hopefully get that GA out late May, early June. For the 040 release, I think there's still quite a number of issues there. 70 and in that part of the plan, and I think 21 now here. So we're starting to drop, which is good. But if we're planning to split early next week, we're basically running out of time. So if possible, people can be looking at the issues there, trying to burn down those lists. If there's something that can't be completed in time for this this release, please do look at whether it should be moved out into a future release or not. There really isn't a huge amount of time there. So, anyone have any other updates or concerns around that release timeline?
So are we looking at code split Monday now, do you think?
Pete had been saying he was going to take whatever was tested on the weekend and do the split.
Okay.
So it's usually whatever's been delivered by Friday gets a good testing over the weekend.
Right.
This is a long weekend coming up, so I'm not sure, or a long weekend here in Canada at least, so I'm not sure what the state of things will be come Monday, or whether that may push things back a little bit.
Yep.
All right. Not sure it's worth digging into JDK 21 other than reminder that there is a lot of JEPs in flight for some of these changes, which may or may not include minor JVM changes here and there. I think a lot of these are language changes, but we should continue to monitor them and make sure that we've got the right pieces in place. All right. And I guess that brings...
I missed the section on 2001. We did do milestone 1 builds. I think those have been done in triage, so we're just waiting to see if I can release those publicly. Give people a chance to try them out.
So builds completed and triaged, hopefully made public soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam. Were new issues found with the triaging, or is the milestone fairly stable still?
Not sure. I'd have to look. Especially knows the fate on the call.
It's not critical for this moment. So if you want to circle back, we can just, as long as whatever issues get added to the appropriate milestone, we'll track them through that. Is there anyone who wants to provide an update from Adopt? All right, given we haven't had a regular update from Adopt for some time, I'm actually just going to remove this section. We can add it back in if needed at a later point. Adam, is there an update on the infrastructure?
Yep. Sorry, I was just going to say, it looks like there was some issues opened internally because they're part of the JCK suite. So nothing that I see for OpenJ9 issues.
Okay.
Not much for machine side. We did disable RDP in the Windows boxes as per security directive. And we had a bunch of Cent8 Arch offline. Those are back up now. Other than that, no new updates.
All right, thanks. I don't see Marius on the call, so I assume no update for JIT server. And similarly for MicroJIT. Toby, is there an update for the CRIU support? Toby, if you're talking, you're on mute. Well,
Sorry, just having issues with my browser. No updates this week.
okay. Hung, any updates for the Valhalla potential JDK 21 preview?
Yeah, so for value object changes, we have already split that from existing value type code, and the change was merged yesterday. And for the missing attributes, it is being worked on.
Okay. Thanks, Hung. I don't see Daryl, so I assume no update for the Mac Apple Silicon work either then. One thing I will mention is we've enabled the GitHub security advisories on the OpenJ9 organization. So it means that we can, I believe, collaborate around open security issues through the GitHub infrastructure. This is a pilot project being set up by the Eclipse Foundation. Rather than using the old Bugzilla tracking system for this, we've now been able to move that directly to the GitHub infrastructure. So something for us to keep an eye on, and if there's any feedback on how that's going, appreciate that, and we can share that with the foundation as well. Any other items people wish to bring up? Okay, then we'll call things here. Thanks everybody. It's the next call will be May 23rd.